Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Center and to the world of magic and miracles. Welcome, Earthlandians, people of the heart. It's an honor to be here, as always. There's such a feeling for me of floating, of being unattached. There's a feeling of connection with consciousness itself. I can feel its compassion, its harmony, its understanding, its love for each person, so that there's a recognition of the magnificence of each one in their own particular journey, which only they understand, which only they can see for themselves. But the all, consciousness itself, the source, can see everyone. And it only has compassion. And when connected to that, your heart expands, contracts, brings you to tears, brings you to moments of ecstasy. For that's what Source is experiencing. We have these lives that are very distracting. They pull us into places, having us do things that we need to do. It's hard to just allow, to sit back, wait for your signal, a signal, no signal, knowing that everything is being taken care of. We all experience it every day. A week ago, my foot hurt, and then it stops hurting. I'm always amazed that we have a hard time acknowledging that. We just say, but my shoulder hurts. We don't say, oh, that's going to pass. My foot was just hurting, and I completely forgot about it. We don't take on the awareness that everything's moving through us, past us. And we don't celebrate the magnificence and the magic that a week ago I might have been complaining, my foot hurts, like it was a big thing. And then it's gone. And we never say, wow, what was I doing? I should know better. It's going to pass. Why did I make such a big deal out of it? That's because your shoulder's hurting now. And that has your attention. But I can feel this floating feeling, this disentanglement from life, this non-attachment. And the best way I can describe it, because there is no description or name, is that I can feel the dance between me and my creator. And I can hear the music. And if you stop just for a moment Stop seeking, stop fixing, stop running. You'll hear the music and you'll dance with your creator. It's a marvelous dance because it turns you to the left and to the right without expectations, without needs, without an agenda of what has to be done today, now, this second. It separates you from fear. Your hands just hold on to the body of your creator and you just dance. And the feeling is incredible. It's simply magic. So from my ship, I bring these words. Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Commencing countdown, engines on. 5, 4, 3. Check ignition and may God's love be with you. 2, 1. Liftoff. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know whose shirt you wear. Now it's time to leave the capsule, if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way, and the stars look very different today, for here I am sitting in my ship, far above the world. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing for me to do. Though I'm past 100,000 miles, I'm feeling very still, and I think my spaceship knows which way to go. Tell my wife I love her very much, she knows. Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Two weeks ago, I read a prophecy of Edgar Cayce about February 17th, 2026. And today I'll read a second prophecy that he spoke for February 20th, 3 days later, 2026. Something is dissolving. You can feel it. Reality itself is becoming fluid, unstable, like you're walking on ground that's turning to mist beneath your feet. And in exactly 7 days, on February 20th, 2026, the dissolution completes. This is Edgar Cayce's Saturn-Neptune prophecy, the moment he said would change everything. What we're about to discuss is based on real astrology, real prophecy, and something that has never happened before in 6,000 years of recorded history. I've been studying Edgar Cayce's readings on the Saturn-Neptune conjunction for years, and what he saw for February 20th, 2026 is the moment when what we thought was real dissolves completely, and what we thought was impossible becomes the new foundation. So today I'm breaking down why Edgar Cayce called this the Great Disillusion. What happens when Saturn, the planet of reality, merges with Neptune, the planet of dreams, at 0 degrees Aries, the birth point of the entire zodiac. and why this conjunction is different from every other Saturn-Neptune conjunction in human history, and how to navigate the mist without losing yourself. This is the most important moment of our lifetime. And if you're feeling the ground dissolve beneath you right now, you're not going crazy. You're right on time. What unfolds between now and July is going to reshape everything we thought we knew about reality. Now, let me tell you why you're feeling this so intensely right now. Edgar Cayce predicted that when Saturn meets Neptune at 0 degrees Aries, the boundary between dreams and reality would dissolve, not metaphorically, literally. He said the veil between what we see and what we imagine would become so thin that we wouldn't be able to tell the difference anymore. And that's exactly what's happening. You're having dreams that feel more real than your waking life. You're having thoughts that manifest into physical reality within hours. You're seeing synchronicity so strong they can't be coincidence. Time is collapsing. Your past, present, and future are bleeding into each other. And all of this is because Saturn, the planet that built the three-dimensional prison we've been living in, is dissolving into Neptune, the infinite ocean of consciousness. Cayce said, when these two planets meet at the 0 point, humanity will experience the great questioning. What is real? What is true? And who told us that what we've been living was reality in the first place? Here's what most people don't understand about Saturn and Neptune. We've been taught that Saturn is reality and Neptune is illusion. But Edgar Cayce, quoting the mystic, said it's the opposite. Neptune is reality. Saturn was the illusion. Let that sink in for a moment. Everything you thought was solid, stable, real, your job, your government, your money, your identity, that's Saturn. That's the three-dimensional illusion. It feels real because it's tangible. You can touch it. You can see it. But Cayce knew what quantum physics has now proven. Consciousness creates matter. Thought precedes reality. Neptune, the realm of imagination, dream, spirit, consciousness itself. That's what creates the invisible scaffolding upon which Saturn builds three-dimensional structures. So when Saturn and Neptune come together, what happens? The scaffolding becomes visible. The illusion dissolves. What we thought was solid turns to mist. And we're left standing in the unknown, holding nothing but our consciousness, our imagination, our dreams. And for people who've been clinging to the Saturnian structures, to the old world, to what they thought was safe and stable, this feels terrifying. It feels like death. But for those who understand what Cayce saw, this is the most beautiful moment in human history, because when the old reality dissolves, we get to dream a new one into existence. Now, let me tell you why this Saturn-Neptune conjunction is different from every other one that's ever happened. Saturn meets Neptune every 35 to 36 years. That's regular. That's cyclical. But this one is unprecedented for three reasons. Reason number one, going back 5,000 to 6,000 years, Saturn has never conjoined Neptune at 0 degrees Aries. Never. 0 degrees Aries is the birth point of the entire zodiac. It's called the Aries point, the world axis. Some branches of astrology treat it like a planet because it's that powerful. It's pure potential, infinite possibility, the moment before creation begins. So this isn't just Saturn meeting Neptune. This is Saturn meeting Neptune at the moment of cosmic birth. We're not just dissolving an old reality, we're birthing an entirely new reality from the void. Reason number two, this conjunction is happening at the exact midpoint between Uranus and Pluto. Right now, Uranus is at 27 degrees, Pluto is at 3 degrees Aquarius. Their midpoint, 0 degrees Aries, exactly where Saturn and Neptune meet. And in July, Uranus and Pluto move into a perfect trine at 4 degrees. Uranus is at 4 Gemini, Pluto at 4 Aquarius, and Neptune will be at 4 Aries. Perfect geometry, perfect activation. And the Saturn-Neptune conjunction on February 20th is the catalyst that sets this all in motion. Edgar Cayce saw this. He described it as the moment when the scaffolding of reality begins to shimmer, when the structures we thought were permanent reveal themselves as consciousness in disguise. Reason number 3, humanity has never been at a point where collective consciousness is so interconnected, so amplified, so instantaneous. We're creating cosmic feedback loops through social media, through the internet, through AI. Every time something resonates with these astrological patterns, all the videos, all the posts from last week, last month, last year pop back up, feeding the energy back into the collective. It's like a feedback loop at a rock concert where the sound gets amplified and creates entirely new sounds. We're doing that now with consciousness, and Edgar Cayce predicted this. He said, when Saturn meets Neptune at the 0 point in the age of instant communication, the collective dream will become visible. What was once held in individual consciousness will suddenly become shared reality, and we are seeing it. We are seeing it with disclosure. We're seeing it with revolutions on the streets. We're seeing it with dreams being felt collectively and being met by Saturnian authority trying to hold on. Whether that's Gaza, Sudan, Iran, Minneapolis, Paris, everywhere, we're feeling Saturn, the old world order meeting Neptune, the dreams of the people. And the dreams of the people are winning, slowly, painfully, but they are winning. So what did Edgar Cayce actually say about the disillusion? He used very specific language. He called it the mist. He said, when Saturn dissolves into Neptune, reality becomes mist. What was solid becomes fluid. What was certain becomes unknown. And most people will panic because they don't know how to navigate the mist. They'll reach for the old structures, even as the old structures crumble. They'll cling to the banks of the river, even as the current tears them apart. But Cayce said, there's another way. He referenced the Hopi Indian tribe prophecy. The elders say the time of the fast river has arrived. Those who hold on to the edge for safety will be torn apart. Push away from the edge. Go into the middle where the rapids are moving fast. Keep your head above water. Look around you and see who is there. Those are your people. This is your new family. Be joyous. There is no time for fear. There is no time for sorrow. All is in perfect order. That's the instruction. Let go of the edge. Trust the current. Move into the mist, knowing that the mist are where the magic lives. The mist are where dreams are born, and the mist are where new reality is created. Now, let me tell you what's happening astrologically through February, because this explains why everything feels so intense now. At the beginning of February, we have the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Pluto, all in Aquarius, feature-focused, revolutionary, technology-enabled. But by the end of February, all of those planets have moved into Pisces, the ending, the dissolution. Mercury moves into Pisces on February 6th, Venus on February 10th, the Sun on February 18th, Mars by March 2nd. So there's a part of us that's not ready to let go. We're still playing in the old room. We're still attached to structures that are dissolving, and our guides are pulling us out. Wait, wait, we say. I'm still busy. I'm not done yet. But they're saying, it's time to go. The old world is burning. We have to leave now. And all through February, every single one of these planets moving through Pisces makes a square to Uranus in Taurus. Mercury squares Uranus on February 5th, Venus on February 8th, the Sun on February 16th, one day before the solar eclipse, and Mars on February 27th. These squares are shaking everything loose. Uranus is revolutionary energy, sudden change, awakening, truth, and it's rattling the Saturnian structures that Taurus wants to hold on to because Taurus is stability. Taurus is the physical world. Taurus is, I want things to stay the same. But Uranus says, no, nothing stays the same. Everything is changing now. And then we have the eclipse, February 17th, an annular solar eclipse at 28 degrees Aquarius. Annular means ring of fire. The moon doesn't completely cover the sun. We see a ring, a halo. Edgar Cayce talked about this ring as the halo of new consciousness. The eclipse is the moment when the old world and the new world overlap, and the eclipse occurs square to Uranus, activating all the revolutionary awakening, truth revealing energy. Cayce said the eclipse will reveal what was hidden in plain sight, what we've been looking at but couldn't see because the Saturnian structures blocked our vision. And when the eclipse happens, Mercury will be at 16 degrees Pisces, trining Jupiter at 16 degrees Cancer, so that Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. It's at its most powerful, and Jupiter represents expansion, wisdom, higher knowledge. So the eclipse opens the door. Mercury trining Jupiter brings the information through the revelations, the disclosures, the truths we've been waiting for. But here's the thing. Mercury is retrograde through all of this. Mercury enters Pisces on February 6th and stays there for 2 months because of the retrograde. Normally, Mercury flies through a sign in 2 weeks, but this time it is being held back. And Edgar Cayce said, this is intentional. This retrograde gives us time to integrate, to process, to work with what we already have rather than rushing into new territory before we're ready. It's a developmental pause, like a child's body preparing for the next growth spurt. Once Mercury turns direct and moves into Aries in April, boom, launch pad, next level. But right now, we're in the midst. We're in the dissolution. We're in the wandering. Cayce used a biblical metaphor. When the Jews left Egypt and wandered in the desert for 40 years, they weren't allowed to enter the promised land until the old people who had experienced slavery in Egypt had died off. Moses couldn't enter the new land until he died. It's almost like we have this taste of the new. Pluto is in Aquarius, not going back to Capricorn for centuries. Neptune and Saturn are in Aries, not going back to Pisces. But we're not fully there yet. We're in the wandering, the transition, the in-between. And that's what makes February so intense. We can see the promised land, we can feel it, but we're still shedding the old consciousness. We're still letting the old self die, and that dying process is not comfortable. It's not peaceful. It feels like you're losing your mind. It feels like you're losing yourself. But Cayce said, you're not losing yourself. You're losing the false self, the mask, the identity that was built by the Saturnian structures. And what's emerging is the true self, the self that was always there underneath, the self that's made of pure consciousness, pure imagination, pure creative power. So how do you navigate the mist? Edgar Cayce gave very specific instructions. First, stop fearing the unknown. We've been curated to fear the unknown. We've been taught to fear what we can't see, what we can't control, what's different from us, different religion, different skin color, different beliefs, different politics. We've been distracted by fear of each other, so we don't see what's holding us all back. But the unknown is where possibility lives. The unknown is where our wildest dreams exist. Without the unknown, we're stuck in the reality we're in. So step into the mist consciously. Let go of the edge. Trust the current. Second, take care of your body. You can't help anyone if you're drowning. Your nervous system is under massive stress right now. The Aquarius energy, the Uranus squares, the dissolution, all of it is overwhelming your system. So slow down, breathe, walk in nature, do whatever it takes to stay coherent, because your coherence is what anchors the new reality into the three-dimensional world. Third, find your people. The time of the lone wolf is over. Everything now happens in community. Look around you in the rapids, see who is there. Those are your people. This is your new family. Create community now, because the mists are easier to navigate when you're not alone. Fourth, understand that what dissolves needed to dissolve. The caterpillar must die to become the butterfly. We live in a culture that fears death, but transformation requires death of the old. So when you feel something falling away in your life, a relationship, a job, a belief system, an identity, don't cling to it. Let it go. It's part of the old world. It can't come with you into the new timeline. And fifth, remember this. William Blake said, "What is now proved was once only imagined." Picasso said, "Anything you can imagine is real." And Edgar Cayce said, "Consciousness creates reality." So when the Saturnian structures dissolve, when you're standing in the midst, holding nothing but your consciousness, that's when you become the most powerful, because now you get to dream. Now you get to imagine. Now you get to consciously create the new reality, not just for yourself, but for all of us. That's what makes this moment so sacred. February 20th is not the ending, it's the beginning. It's the moment when the mist becomes visible to everyone, not just mystics, not just seers, everyone. Everyone will feel the dissolution. Everyone will question what is real. And that questioning is the work. That's the initiation. Edgar Cayce said, "Do not fear the mist. The mists are where the magic lives. The mists are where the new reality is born. So walk into them with your head up. Walk into them with your people. Walk into them knowing that you are not just witnessing the dissolution of reality, you are co-creating the birth of a new one. And that's the most beautiful and most sacred thing you will ever do this lifetime." I have been living in the mist. I have let go of the edge and I have gone into the middle where the rapids are moving fast. When you're standing in the midst, holding nothing but your consciousness, that's when you become the most powerful, because now you get to dream. Now you get to imagine. Now you get to consciously create the new reality, not just for yourself, but for all of us. Earthlandia is what I have created, a new reality with a new civilization, the home of the Earthlandians, the people of the heart. It may go by another name, but the new civilization will arrive, and it will be populated by the people of the heart. Lift your head above the water and see your new family. I will be the one smiling, loving, and laughing. Cheers, everyone. Love, magic, and laughter, but mostly laughter. Thank you for your presence, and thank you for all of your support. Let the countdown begin. Welcome to Earthlandia. Welcome to the people of the heart. This is the Advancement Center, and I am David.